Welcome to another episode of my series, Mystic Minds with K Mystic, where I represent something that I like to call the mystic veil, the bridge between the seen and unseen worlds. Usually, my episode is about spirituality or metaphysics or different type of esoteric information, but this episode will be kind of different because this is something that I wanted to talk about: the selective morality about AI usage. The main issues people have with AI is environmental factors. Recently, I saw a video of this woman that lived in, I think it was a rural farmland in America. She had showed the before and after of what her town looked like due to data centers and the huge amounts of water that it consumes. And this is a huge reason why people don't like AI. AI automation threatens human roles in the workforce, and mass layoffs occur because of AI. There was a huge tech company, Atlassian, they laid recently about 1,600 people. And a lot of people came out and said that they worked for the company and they got laid off due to AI. This is another major reason. And this is a completely valid reason to dislike AI. If your livelihood is based off a particular role or job and you get laid off because of I would probably feel some type of way about that also. AI output devalues human artistry and creative expression. Recently, I was talking to someone that's in the entertainment industry, and they had said that their friend had asked them, their friend had asked them, is it bad that my favorite song is AI? And they said, yes, it is terrible because who's getting paid for that, right? And that's just one of the reasons. There's a lot of reasons that a lot of people can dislike AI because of art related reasons, which I agree with some of it. They had actually brought up a good point. They said, yes, you can regenerate, and prompt, but you're actually paying another human. They said this in relation to basically me making spiritual and esoteric content and basically having that energetic exchange for different art and ideas instead of just regenerating a prompt with a computer. Now, this is what triggered me to make this video is that yes, there's a lot of reasons why people like it, why people dislike AI, but a lot of people still use iPhones with no issue. And every time someone brought up, the ethics behind using AI, and you mention to them that Cobalt is used in iPhones that they're using to post these comments with, there never seems to be a response. So instead of making esoteric content, I'm just going to make a video about this. Cobalt enables long lasting batteries that make smartphones possible. Around 60 to 70% of the global supply of cobalt comes from the Democratic Republic of Congo. In artisanal mines, children as young as 8 to 12 years old can work in these mines that produce these cobalt in severely hazardous environments. Talk about OHS, this is the worst type and version of it, right? And I bring this to say, how can you use iPhones with no issue, but bring up the unethical usage of AI? It kind of seems like it's contradictory, right? Because they're both unethical. A lot of things are unethical. So I think there is selective morals when it comes to AI. That's why I mentioned multiple different reasons why people can dislike AI, but I think people try to use the unethical argument because it's emotionally pulling, but at the same time, you can't really bring up ethics when you're still using iPhones. This is the video that replays in my mind every single time someone brings up the unethical use of AI because of the environment after you tell them about cobalt.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa.
That's too damn bad! You keep digging!
So this is a few images and screenshots that I found of different articles online that talked about in the 80s what newspapers would talk about when people were scared of computers back when it first came out. People hating emails. They said it was the death of conversation. I like that article. It came out in January 25th, 1999. It had small illustrations of basically how people were in offices trying to talk to people using emails, referencing to talking to people at the same time and working in the office. They said it's going to make the office environment terrible. And this one, top 10 reasons to throw away your iPhone. It makes your life more complicated. A phone is just another thing that checks emails, holds information, and schedules events, and which has to be carefully kept in sync with other crud in your life that checks emails, holds information, and schedules events. The difference? This one likely has a 240 pixel widescreen. So we can see here that people even disliked phones when it first came out. Now everyone has a phone, no problem. Besides, right, I actually had a boss back in 29, no, back when I was 19 in 2022. He actually didn't even have a bank account. He had an old iPhone 4. He still disliked technology, which kind of made our job easier because everything would be on paper. It was at a warehouse, which you normally now use RFID scanners, But I think he was so old school, he didn't upgrade anything. We just had paper slips, right? You have to do everything by hand. So it made things more convenient for, I think, for the employees and stuff like that. But there's some people that are still old school that still don't like iPhones, right? And there's still going to be people in 2048 that still don't use AI. That's completely okay, right? I'm not here to convince anyone to like it. I'm just talking about the selective morals and ethics when it comes to cobalt usage and AI. So the thing that triggered me to make this video, not triggered like I was upset about it, but triggered to make this video, is that someone posted a photo like this, right? So this was their profile picture, them in the mirror with an iPhone, and they were talking about the unethical environmental factors of AI. And I had responded to them, well, the iPhone in your profile picture has cobalt, which is mined by basically child labor slavery in the Democratic of Congo for cobalt, which creates rechargeable batteries. They didn't respond. So, people have selective morals because they want to give something up, but they also don't want to give another thing up, right? So they want other people to give up something that they use, but for them, they wouldn't make that personal sacrifice because it's a normal way of life now, which is why I brought up technologies that people hated at first. Then in the future, maybe people won't hate it as much. Who knows? But that concludes another episode of Mystic Minds with K Mystic. Just something that I wanted to point out, right? The selective morals around AI usage.